Greetings everyone and welcome to Brickcats. Today I'm reviewing Mr. Idler's Delta-7 Jedi Interceptor flown by Obi-Wan Kenobi in the Attack of the Clones. As always, please consider leaving a like, subscribing to the channel, leaving a comment, or supporting what I do in any other way you see fit. I greatly appreciate it. The Delta-7 was designed to be as responsive as possible due to the Jedi's Force-sensitive capabilities. The fighter had the astromech hardwired into the ship as the hull was too thin to accommodate a standard astromech droid body. The fighter could also make use of a hyperdrive ring to travel between systems as the Jedi went about their business. Bricklink's algorithm gave me 6 stores and $84 without shipping and tax, the parts list and the stand without any substitutions, which comes out to about $120 including shipping and tax. And I will say that this did not include one of the rare pieces that I wasn't able to get at all. In my reviews, I offer my opinions on aesthetics and model features, parts issues you might want to look out for, the build experience, the model's integrity, and I close out with my overall impression and pricing information in the conclusion. If you're watching this review, I assume you bought the instructions or are interested in buying them. I also assume a basic level of familiarity with Bricklink's ordering system and LEGO nomenclature. I only use genuine LEGO bricks and I always purchase the instructions for myself. I create these reviews for my own personal enjoyment and in the hopes that my advice will make your experience more enjoyable and or less expensive. Mr. Idler's Delta-7 measures 11.5 inches long, 5.75 inches wide, and 3 inches tall on the landing gear. Off the landing gear it's about 2.5 inches tall, and on the stand here it's 6.25 inches off the surface of my table. There's no stand actually included with the model, so I've been using Pixel Dan's modified stand. This is available for free on Rebrickable, and that's what lifts it off the table. The Delta-7 is quite a small starfighter in canon, so this model is definitely much larger than the typical minifigure scale. And starting right up front, the nose uses brackets and 4x1 slopes to come to a nice sharp point. And happily these slopes are very stable, so there's not a huge noticeable gap like you sometimes get constructing shapes like this. The model does recommend stickers from set 75191, however the sticker sheet is incredibly expensive these days, thus the red stripe should continue along this wedge here, and as well on the opposite side here. But unfortunately the sticker sheet I used did not include stickers that would allow me to do that. For the other stickers you see, I made use of the sticker sheet for set 75333, and that's the newest Interceptor official set from LEGO. You can kind of see the size difference here. And I used the stickers to get this front detailing, the Republic logo, as well as these stickers to either side of the vents right there. Oh, and right by the cockpit here. The larger wedge on the front fuselage partially covers up some white and yellow slopes that hold the angle for the wings. And while the wedge itself is too large, I do like how the partially colored yellow slopes represent these little markings on either side of the center line. Another thing I noticed at this point was that the designer has done an excellent job basically eliminating see-through gaps on this model. So very well done there. It's basically completely solid. You cannot see anything underneath. And just for comparison, here's the official model, and yeah, you see right through that. I really like the implementation of the cannons inset into the hull right here. Initially, the white clip looked out of place to me, but the cannons actually do have white squares around them, so this is actually an appropriate color choice for the clip. The wings continue their sweep backwards, and the curved slopes to represent the wing vents was my favorite parts used in this model, right here. And I think it just creates the right feel for this section by adding a little bit of depth right where that vent is supposed to be. R4 sits in his spots right on the port side, while the Republic logo is opposite. You could also use a printed or stickered tile here if you have one already. The cockpit is cleverly surrounded by cutout wedge pieces as well as these angled 2x1 curve slopes right here, and these are actually connected to the same piece as the fighter controls inside the cockpit. The cockpit has representations of instrumentation, and lots of room for a minifigure. You can see the little control sticks in there. I will say that I think the seat is a bit too far forward in the cockpit. In the movie, he's way far back, but perfectly understandable. And while it makes it a little inconvenient to open and close the cockpit, this little wedge piece right here, covering off the very rearmost part of the canopy, is a nice bit of detail that we do see in the movies. The section behind the cockpit is fairly simple, and I also really like this lower fin made from the flag pieces right in the middle there. On the underside, the two engines are constructed with wheel pieces and some additional curved slopes. And also on the other side, you can see how the landing gear folds up very nicely into the fuselage, and the skids do fold out in the right direction. Of course, I will fail miserably to demonstrate this. Give you the head-on view here. So they do fold out to either side, like they're supposed to. It's a bit tough to get this in and out, but the pivot point for these landing skids are so far back in there that you can't really angle them, which would make it a little bit more accurate, but not a big deal. We'll try and spare you putting this. It's also a little bit difficult to get this back in, just because, again, the pivot point is so deep. I definitely think the front skid could use a little bit more detail, as it's just a modified 1x2 plate. The cliff and bar connection is also going to be pretty loose, so a fingered hinge would probably be more appropriate here. And the underside has a reasonable proportion of anti-studs, but there is some smoothing with these slopes and wedges. The original specification has the red stripe continuing back to these two wedges here, but I replaced those with white for cost reasons, which I'll go over in the parts section. Again, there's no stand included with this model, so I used Pixel Dan's modified stand he originally built for his Mandalorian M1. This is very stable and it holds the model at a nice angle, or if you want, it will also hold the fighter up or down. And you put it in this section right here. While large for minifigure scale, I really enjoyed displaying this model, and in my opinion it looks very good. The little touches the designer included, like the white clips, the partially covered yellow slopes, the angled slopes near the cockpit, and the curved slopes that represent the vents on the wings, are all very good touches. And while use of stickers may be controversial for some, the 75333 sticker sheet is pretty inexpensive, and certain details on the front, like on the front wedge, are extremely difficult to recreate well with Lego bricks. This model requires 150 elements and 405 pieces for both the ship and the stand. For the stand parts list, you need to add one round 2x2 brick in black, part 3941. I happen to have a fluted brick on hand, which works just fine. You can also leave the stand out, but in my research, the stand parts only added about $3 to the final cost and did not increase the store count, and I definitely think this looks better on display. The sticker sheet for set 75191, part 75191 STK01 is very expensive these days, so you can either omit it entirely or the sticker sheet from set 75333, that's part number 75333 STK01, has the front sticker as well as the Republic insignia and some of the red and white stickers that help complete the look. For the astromech head, the designer has listed the 2016 to 2017 version that came in set 75191 and 75132, and that's part 553 PB023. This is also quite expensive in 2023, so I recommend substituting this with the new R4P17 head, that's part 553 PP044. And depending on your preference, you may want to have the entire minifigure for slightly more money. In this case, the most economical is SW1221, also from set 75333. And the reason that the less common R4P17 head is specified is only because these instructions came out a couple of years ago, before the newest Obi-Wan's Jedi Interceptor came out. The 6x2 inverted wedges in dark red, parts 41764 and part 41765, only came in one set, the Maersk Triple E, set 10241, and these are extremely rare and expensive. I wasn't even able to find one of these for sale in the United States, so I swapped these out for white, which increases the quantity of white inverted wedges to 2 each, and I also changed the slope curved 6x1 in dark red, part 42023 to white. This keeps the color scheme somewhat consistent on the bottom. The dark red inverted wedge should be right here, and then the dark red inverted slope would be right next to it. Alternatively, if you do want the dark red in this area, you could add 2 of the curved 6x1 inverted slopes in dark red, and 2 additional slope 33 3x1 inverted in dark red, part 4287. You would put the 6x1 and 3x1 inverted slopes in place of the 6x2 wedges here. So it wouldn't be as smooth, but it would still give you the same kind of profile. The 4-plate modified 1x2 with bar handle on side closed ends, part 48336, was typically very expensive in my Bricklink results, in dark red. I had 2 of them for some reason, even though these have only come in 5 sets in this color, none of which I remember owning, but I replaced the other 2 with white. These pieces hold the curved slope subassemblies near the engines here. So you can see I used the dark red right here and the white right here for comparison. And in the same area, the 8-tile modified 1x1 with open O-clip, part 15712 in dark red, were also rather expensive. I changed these to white as well, bringing the quantity of white clips to 14 total. So I had 4 in dark red up here, again just for illustrative purposes, and I did the other 4 in white down here. Most of the pieces in this model have an edge showing, and those that don't aren't particularly expensive in the first place. The designer did not use any rare or expensive pieces aside from the inverted wedges I already mentioned, so there's no specific element I recommend ordering directly from LEGO. Mr. Idler's Delta-7 instructions contain 159 steps and a sticker guide after the last piece is connected. Each part or subassembly you add in a given step is outlined in bright red against a light blue background. This is fine for visibility, and I didn't run into any viewing angle or sequencing issues during the build. The sticker guide is comprehensive for the 75191 sticker sheet, but could probably use an update for 75333 sticker sheet. The larger sticker on the front right here is number 5. The Republic logo is sticker number 4. The stickers to either sides of the event are stickers 6 and 7, and the small Republic logo, which is optional, I didn't put it on mine, come from stickers 9 and 11, and they go right behind the cockpit here. The build took me about an hour without any sorting, and this model is suitable for all levels of builder, with the exception of a small amount of cutting for stickers 9 and 11 to separate the Republic logo from the rest. This model is very sturdy and very swishable. There are no major sections with loose connections, and this model is just a tiny bit awkward to hold because of the flag pieces down here, which kinda can get bumped out of alignment. But you can get a stable grip on it with your fingers underneath and your thumb to the side, or even right on top of the cockpit, and this will hold up to any level of swishing. There's just the slightest bit of looseness in the fin behind the cockpit due to the construction method. You can see it kind of separating here. And these flap sections are clip and bar connections, so very occasionally they can get bumped and these inverted slopes fall off. Well, they're not inverted, but these slopes fall off. The rear landing gear is fine, but like I said in the aesthetic section, the front one's not very stable, so sitting this on its landing gear, there's a high probability the front stud will give out. And if you use Pixel Dance stand, this is very stable on the studded connection. This model is not very heavy. So assuming you put it in the right anti-studs, this will hold up to casual movement on the stand as well. Mr. Idler's Delta-7 is an excellent looking model, and it has a number of small but very pleasing details built into it. While the instructions and parts lists are a few years old by now, and the availability of the sticker sheet and certain pieces has definitely changed, with my suggestions I think it's definitely affordable to build in 2023, and like I said, I think it looks excellent. Bricklink's algorithm gave me 6 stores and $84 without shipping and tax for the parts list and stand without any substitutions, which comes to about $120 including shipping and tax. This doesn't even include one of those rare dark red inverted wedges, so even if you try and buy the vanilla parts list from Bricklink, you won't have a complete model. With my substitutions, I got this down to 3 stores and $51 without shipping and tax, or about $72 with shipping and tax. That saves you about $48 total. While there wasn't any one element that I recommend getting from Pick-a-Brick, if you order as many elements as possible from Pick-a-Brick, my LEGO total was $47, which eliminated both the shipping and handling charges, but does include tax. Buying the leftovers from Bricklink, I got 2 stores and $12 without shipping and tax, or about $24 with shipping and tax, for a total of around $71. And that's a total of about $49 in savings from the no substitutions version. Instructions for this model are available for free with a suggested donation of 10% of the parts cost. To donate, you click the link in the instructions that will bring up the PayPal window, and instructions on the parts list for the stand are free, and there will be links to both in the video description down below. Thanks as always for watching my review of Mr. Idler's Delta-7. If you built the model, you have something to share that I left out, or have a question about something I didn't cover, please leave them below in the comments. Remember to leave the video a like, subscribe to the channel, or follow me on Instagram if you haven't already, and I hope to see you back next time.